that the Oilers could get a forward like Brock Boeser in free agency. A lot of people talking about would they want him, would they not want him, but cap-wise, like, is there a path to the Oilers finding a way to squeeze in a contract like that?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I mean, I've seen the public reports about that. That's nothing I've heard from people I've spoken to. I've heard other teams for Boeser. Edmonton wasn't one of them. So yeah, that's interesting. I mean, cap-wise, so they have 11 million of space right now. If they trade Arvidsson, that's 15. If Bouchard comes in at, let's just say, like that 4 times 9.5 or so, yeah, that's not a lot of room for a Boeser. But they could do something like, right now on the roster we have Max Jones on there for $1 million. So that's kind of $1 million that goes away for that roster spot. So it's possible that they could squeeze it, make it work. Tomasek, for example, we expect him on the roster. He's at 1.2, but he does not require waivers to go down. So, if he doesn't make the roster, that's 1.15 million that gets saved, which is the maximum. So they have a tiny cap hit with him sent down. So, again, if they were able to get a guy like Boeser, that you can see a path to make it work, but it would definitely be tight. And you wonder if, just to give them a little more room or to add someone else, maybe they would trade a Henrique or someone like that. There's a lot of talk that guys like Perry and Brown have potentially going to market and have some good offers out there. So again, if you're not going to pay those guys, maybe Brown was 2 to 3 million and Perry for the Oilers, maybe in the mid ones, you don't have to have the money set aside for them, then maybe you can spend it on a Boeser.
Someone said you are not affording Boeser. Well, let me just walk you through it here.
You can, but God, it just pisses me off when people are like, you don't have the assets for these guys. It's like they actually do. There's ways to get around it.
And we did talk about, again, quit dicking around with $2 to $3 million free agents and we'll take some shots next to Leon and Connor. You kind of lost to Florida because you didn't have enough difference makers.
Yes.
Brock Boeser, 25 goals in 75 games in a down season. He has scored 40 goals in the NHL. He's had some up and down seasons, but he could probably score 40 goals in Edmonton. 25 goals, 9 of them were on the power play. When he scored 40 goals, 16 of them were on the power play. He is a right shot, which, putting him on that Nuge side of the power play could give the power play a little bit of a boost.
And Nuge went on the second year of the power play in the final, and they actually had some decent looks.
They did. So you can't afford it. Okay, $11 million in cap space right now. That is with 13 forwards, 6 defensemen, and 2 goalies. So once you sign Bouchard, you will have a totally full roster with $1 million remaining in cap space. But as Hart said, you could go with 12 forwards over the 13 they have. So let's say you put Max Jones down. Now you're up to $2 million. And then you swap, let's call it Tomasek for Philp. That buys you another $400K. So you're going to have 1 to 2.5 million at that point. Arvidsson gone puts you at 6.5. You're getting pretty close. Let's say instead of 10 million, Bush is 9.5. You're now up to $7 million in cap space. You probably still need to move Henrique.
Okay.
But you move Henrique, sign a centerman for $1 million, and now you afford Boeser. It's possible, is my point.
Can they just bring up Tomasek?
They could move out Henrique, bring up Tomasek. There's your 1.8. You're up to north of $8 million. You could give Boeser a 7x8 if you want. And one last thing on Brock Boeser. Again, I'm not in love with the player. I think he would fit in here really, really well. But I'm not if it breaks tomorrow that he got a 7x8.5 in Minnesota, I'm not going to be like, oh, the Oilers missed he'd be a good fit. I think he would score a ton here. He makes them better. Do I think he's a light at the end of the tunnel? Wow, I feel grossly different about the Oilers' cup chances with Boeser? No. But this is the type of move I'd like to see them make, so that's why I'm okay with it, if that makes any sort of sense.
Just sign Nick Bukestad for $1 million. You're good. I believe we've actually gone down that train before, and we were not good, and we got smoked in the second round.
Yep.
But just on Brock Boeser, why is everyone so down on him? All of a sudden, I don't understand it. Did we forget how unreal he was in the series that we played against him? And he got injured in that game 7, obviously for blood clots.
Yeah,
and arguably a reason why the Oilers won that series. If he was in that game,
might have been different.
An absolute difference maker. When he is on his form, which was only 1 year ago.
Yeah,
you're in a great spot. He's also been on a Canucks team that has quite frankly been brutal and just been around this whole chaos for so long. I think he's a great player. He's also not that slow.
I think where the concern is when you look at his 5-on-5 scoring, it's not really there. Like 5-on-5 goals the last 3 years. I'll just take power play goals out of the equation because then it's less math for me. So take power play goals out of the equation. Brock Boeser, this past season, had 16 goals in 75 games. Year before that, he had 24 goals. Year before that, he had 12. So 16, 24, and 12. That's a pretty big gap when we talk about even strength scoring here. So, again, I think he could score 35 plus goals in Edmonton. You're paying for it.
16, 24, and 12?
Yeah.
I wonder how much like someone like Elias Pettersson not being great has done that.
Probably, yeah.
He's not a play driver. He's a goal scorer.
And he'll have an elite centerman if he's in Edmonton, which is why I'd be okay with the signing. What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.